know, Bill Goldberg is a professional wrestling superstar, whether you like him or not. He was a mainstay during the Attitude Era. He was a mainstay on Monday night while WCW Nitro went head-to-head with Monday Night Raw. He was their answer to Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm not a fan of Bill Goldberg for many reasons, but Bill Goldberg is back in the news. Not because he's getting back in the ring to give us one last match, God forbid, but Bill Goldberg is upset that Asooka, who? Oh, Asuka beat his undefeated streak. A Japanese lady beat his undefeated streak. We'll go over what he actually said right here on Off the Script. Also, WWE is in the midst of WrestleMania season. Does that mean Stone Cold, Undertaker, John Cena, and any other old-timer, are they coming back to WWE in time for the 40th anniversary? We'll go over that as well. And a major update on Jon Moxley. Apparently, people are picking apart AEW Creative because the Blackpool Combat Club beat FTR at Revolution. And then they're holding a tag team title tournament, and the Blackpool Combat Club is nowhere to be found. All this today, right here on Off the Script. We will start with Stone Cold, The Undertaker, and John Cena believed to be doing something at WrestleMania 40. Now, I would suspect that at least one of these men will be at WrestleMania. All three, I don't know, man. It's like wishing upon a star nowadays with how everybody's busy or if they want to come back or not. It's always back and forth. The Rock and Roman Reigns will wrestle Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins on night one. And then I'm assuming, and everybody else is assuming, that the Bloodline will win night one. That will translate to night two, where Cody basically has to wrestle under Bloodline rules against Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Championship. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer, Dave Meltzer, take him with a grain of salt, reported that WrestleMania 40 on Saturday, April 6 and Sunday, April 7, from Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, will have some legendary names doing something at the event. Meltzer wrote, and I quote, "Nothing is official, but the belief right now is that Steve Austin, The Undertaker, and John Cena will have something at WrestleMania in some form." Now, for now, WWE doesn't have anything creatively locked in for Cena or Austin, but if they do, it's a well-guarded secret. Cena, who has hinted at making an appearance, is free to do so, but likely not able to wrestle due to his acting commitments coming up. You know, a lot of people are making the correlations to this Cody Rhodes Bloodline storyline now that it involves Seth Rollins. Is it going to be Triple H's guys against the Bloodline? Is the Bloodline going to add? Probably. If I was a betting man, I'd say yes, they will. Who exactly? Nobody knows. But then we're going to need people on the WWE side, the Triple H side, backing Cody and Seth Rollins. And a lot of people have made the correlations to the Avengers. Is this going to be WWE assembling all of the greats who at one point or another, minus Stone Cold, but Stone Cold has a great history with The Rock. John Cena has a history with Roman Reigns. And then The Undertaker has a history with Roman Reigns. Maybe all of these superstars join forces, come together on this one night, and back Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania 40, helping him beat Roman Reigns' Bloodline rules. I don't know, man. Sounds like a very overbooked script for some movie cinema, if you ask me. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't really know, but that's what everybody's running with right now on social media. The imaginations are running wild, brother, out there on X, but I would not be surprised if one of these men, at least, is involved. And I know a lot of people were throwing Stone Cold's name around, but it's going to be a surprise. Everything's going to be a well-guarded secret, especially with Dwayne in charge of mostly what's going on here with Night 1 and Night 2's mega main event. So keep an eye out for that. The rumor is Austin, Undertaker, and John Cena believed to be doing something big at WrestleMania 40. We'll keep an eye on that. Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg, man. Everybody's a fan of Bill Goldberg. Not a fan of Bill Goldberg. WWE had some Japanese girl beat my undefeated match streak. A record, by the way, that nobody gives a shit about. Goldberg made an appearance on Tim Green's Nothing Left Unsaid podcast. Not Tom Green. Remember Tom Green? Yeah. Tim Green, where he discussed a wide range of topics, including his undefeated streak in WCW, which was broken by WWE star Asuka years ago. Goldberg referred to her as some Japanese girl. What's her name? Asooka? Is what he said. Asuka set the new record for most consecutive matches undefeated after signing with WWE in 2015. Before, obviously, WWE gave that to Charlotte Flair like they usually do at WrestleMania 34 in 2018. On Asuka beating his streak, he says, well, a girl beat my winning streak. Beat my undefeated streak. I can't even remember. What's her name? Asooka? Asuka. Some Japanese girl. And they touted her as being one to have the longest winning streak. It just so happened that it culminated when I got there, right? First of all, her name is Asuka. Number two, nobody gives a shit about Goldberg's undefeated streak but Bill Goldberg. And the undefeated streak wasn't even something that was really consistent over WCW television. They were adding wins left and right to Bill Goldberg's undefeated streak. Did he really beat as many people in a row as they stated on television? No. No, just like a Vince McMahon attendance number at WrestleMania, WCW added to the overall number figure in Goldberg's winning streak. Nobody gives a shit. Asuka could wrestle circles around Bill Goldberg. Asuka is a better professional wrestler than Bill Goldberg, not a bigger star. We all understand that. The fucking simpletons online, we get it. Goldberg's a bigger star. Who's a better wrestler? Asuka. I'll take Asuka 8 days out of 7. I'm adding a day to the fucking week. Give me a break. Goldberg sucks. Nobody gives a shit about Bill Goldberg, okay? Or his undefeated streak. Hope this helps. On his friction with Triple H during his first WWE run, the fact that I didn't get along with Paul Levesque, who is Vince McMahon's son-in-law, I think had everything to do with it when I got there. All right, who gives a shit? I mean, they brought you back, right? Goldberg was given an opportunity at the World Championship twice. Don't understand why he needs to complain about Paul Levesque. They brought him back no matter what his standing is with Paul Levesque. He wanted to wrestle in front of his son, and they afforded him the opportunity to do that. What's the big deal? If Triple H don't like you, who gives a shit? You got what you wanted anyway. Goldberg, he responds to Bret Hart. As we all know, Bret Hart loves Bill Goldberg. At Starrcade 1999, Goldberg effectively ended Bret Hart's career with a super kick to the head that left Hart with a concussion. For over 20 years, Hart has called out Goldberg for his kick at any opportunity presented to him. He says this about the situation with Bret Hart. For you, Mr. Green, I will talk about it. For any other piece of the media or any other podcast, I won't talk about it anymore. Bret Hart, I was a baby in the wrestling business. I was in WCW. I had a rocket in my ass as far as trajectory is concerned, character-wise. Bret Hart had just left WWE. We all know about Bret being one of the best wrestlers in the history of the world. I was looking for as many mentors as humanly possible, and this guy was one of the best ever. I was enthralled with him. I didn't idolize him by any stretch. I don't idolize anyone, but I put him up on a pedestal to be someone to very much learn from. They put us together, and I did learn a lot from the guy. I wouldn't trade that for the world. We had a match, and unfortunately, during the match, something went wrong, and I kicked him in the head. It was very stiff, and it was an accident. I never maliciously would try to hurt anyone. Let me rephrase that. I would never hurt anyone in a situation like that where they give me their trust, Wrestling is like a dance. You can't perform properly if both people aren't doing their thing. I didn't do the thing right. He caught it in the head. It ended his career, and I never lived it down. You, Tim, know me. You've known me in situations to where I had to fight Frolic, NFL guard Bill Frolic, just about every day to survive. It was a complete accident, but to this day, he thinks I did it on purpose. I felt horrible for what I did. It just happened. That's the Bret Hart story. I've heard it for 15 years. I've heard about it, and from him bitching and moaning about me, kicking him in the head, I can only say I'm sorry so many times. I can only be so remorseful for so long. That's where we are. I still want to kill him, Goldberg said jokingly while laughing with Tim Green. You know, that's where I actually do agree with Goldberg. I think Bret, and listen, Bret's going to be Bret. Bret has every reason to feel the way that he does. You're not going to go out there and tell Bret to forgive Bill Goldberg. You know, Bret, all he had was wrestling. Wrestling was his fucking life. And Goldberg had it, you know, in his hands. The trust was in his hands, and Bret had that taken away from him. So you're not going to sit there and tell Bret to feel any which way. Bret can feel however he feels, but you would think and you would say time heals all wounds, and that hasn't been the case here. Goldberg has been very remorseful. Goldberg knows what he did wrong. He apologized for what he did wrong. He was open and honest about it, and Bret just doesn't want to accept the apology. That's on Bret. Bret can feel any way he wants, but Goldberg has at least tried, and I do believe him in that sense. Where would Bret be now if Bret wrestled all those years? I don't know. We got robbed of some pretty great matches that could have been with Bret and WWE around that time. Anyway, in regards to Bill Goldberg and the undefeated streak, I know a lot of people are taking this out of context. I mean, Goldberg, you know, the one thing I will say about this, first of all, I don't understand why people are so upset about this. I throw it out there because I just genuinely dislike Bill Goldberg. Asuka's a better pro wrestler. I put it out on social media. Asuka's a better pro wrestler. Just to rile up the fucking geeks. Oh, well, Goldberg is the superstar in the community in pro wrestling. That's great. Congratulations. Thank you for telling me something we already know. Goldberg's a superstar. Great. Fantastic. I like to rile up the fucking people whenever I get a chance to talk about Bill Goldberg because I don't really care for Bill Goldberg. But the one thing that really stuck out as far as Bill Goldberg in this sense is that Goldberg doesn't give a shit about anybody but Bill Goldberg. Goldberg is still complaining about an undefeated streak that nobody gives a fuck about. He clearly doesn't know who Asuka is. He doesn't even know how to pronounce her name. And this was the problem with Goldberg when he got back to the WWE. They were putting him on a pedestal. They put him in the ring with Brock Lesnar. They fed him Kevin Owens. Then he buried The Fiend out in Saudi Arabia, which was one of the worst booking decisions in the history of booking decisions. This guy doesn't give a shit about any of the youngsters or the youth in WWE. He cares about his undefeated streak. Asuka doesn't do anything as far as talking about her ability and how great she was and what a superstar she was for NXT and how great she's been for the WWE women's roster and the women's division. None of that. All he cares about is himself. Goldberg comes in. He wants everything for himself, does not want to put over anybody, and I will never let it go how this guy just walked on in when The Fiend just won the fucking world championship. You would think that someone of his status would be like, you know what, Vince, this guy's got it. Everybody loves him. We should be putting him over. No, he waltzes right on in 3 minutes. Goodbye, buried, never recovered. You want me to respect somebody like that? I will never respect anybody like that, ever. So continue to complain about your undefeated streak and continue to downplay the contributions that Asuka has made to women's professional wrestling. Asuka is greater than Bill Goldberg at this point. I don't give a fuck how big of a superstar Bill Goldberg was in 1999. Nobody gives a shit. Go back and watch it on the network and relive your nostalgia. I don't give a fuck, and neither should you. Fuck Bill Goldberg. Moving on. More on Jon Moxley's absence from AEW and why the Blackpool Combat Club is not in the AEW Tag Team Title Tournament. Jon Moxley's been absent on AEW TV lately, and people are now wondering where he's been, as he's been one of AEW's top stars. and one of the more consistently booked stars the promotion has, especially with Mercedes, Will Ospreay, and Okada being featured regularly on TV. New Japan Pro Wrestling confirmed today that Moxley will team with Shota Umino to take on the House of Torture, Jack Perry and Ren Narita, at Sakura Genesis on April 6th. Fans have also wondered why Moxley and Claudio are not working the vacant AEW Tag Team title tournament, but FTR are in it despite FTR putting over Moxley and Claudio at Revolution. However, one in AEW is sure as to why they weren't added to the tournament. Many readers have been asking about why they haven't been in the tournament, and this is coming from Fightful. They can't really speak to the booking decisions in particular, but they did learn that this time off was planned ahead of time, and the duo were not going to be available during the tournament. Jon Moxley has upcoming bookings in Mexico next week, as well as Japan the following week, when the heart of the tournament would be taking place. His match in Mexico was planned well over a month ago as well, and by then would not be able to participate in the tournament. Now, it doesn't make sense, yes, and a lot of people are asking, well, where's Claudio? Well, why do you want Claudio teaming with Wheeler Yuta? First of all, why would you want that? That's not the team that we've been seeing on television. The team is weaker with Yuta there, and Bryan's wrestling Ospreay, where the finals of this tag team title tournament will be taking place. So the tournament itself, I want you guys to understand the mindset of Tony Khan. The Blackpool Combat Club, if they were in the tournament, would more than likely have to lose. So this all works out. Tony Khan did not have in mind, he gave them the time off. And I'm assuming that they had this plan well before they even let Jon Moxley take this time off, or just around the same time when they were planning. They were basically in the mindset of, all right, we're going to give you this time off. We're going to have a tournament, though, you know, right around March, going into April, going into Dynasty. You guys are not going to be a part of it because I'm going to give you this time off. You're not going to win the tournament anyway. Blackpool Combat Club was never going to win the tournaments anyway, and Tony Khan has a problem with the Blackpool Combat Club, specifically Jon Moxley, losing matches. Tony Khan does not book Jon Moxley to lose many matches at all. I can count on one hand how many matches he's lost in AEW. They were never going to win the tournament. The Young Bucks are winning the tournament. Predictable, yes, but it's the right decision. We'll probably get the Young Bucks versus FTR in the finals of this tournament, with the Young Bucks going over. And then at that point, the Young Bucks are going to need opponents coming out of the pay-per-view. In comes the Blackpool Combat Club, because they have beaten FTR, who are going to be in the finals, and they will basically come out and say, well, we beat these guys. We weren't in the tournament. We're next. Young Bucks are going to need a team to challenge after the tournament is over. In slides the Blackpool Combat Club. It's not that big of a deal, guys. I don't know why everybody's just, oh, where's Jon Moxley? Where's Claudio? Where's the Blackpool Combat Club? Sometimes it's better when these people are off television, because sometimes we've been overexposed to them. Maybe the Blackpool Combat Club is going to be better off when they come back after a little time away. I'm not really thinking too much about it, guys. I'm not really, concerned about where they are. Everything's going to work out the way that it should be, and the Young Bucks are going to be the tag team champions, whether you like their new gimmick, whether you like them or not. That's the way it's going to end up. Guys, thank you so very much for all your supports. Hopefully you enjoyed today's upload. If you did, please hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think of Jon Moxley and Claudio missing the tournament. Let me know what you think of Bill Goldberg and Asuka. And let me know what you guys think of John Cena, The Undertaker, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, all making appearances at WrestleMania 40 and where they fit in best. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Hit that thumbs up and go check out all the other content on the channel. There is plenty of it. And I will see you guys back live tonight for the SmackDown post right here on Off the Script. See you guys later.